Here, so welcome everybody, and it's great to see you all again for our fantastic July conference, which is planning for a return to the classroom. So it's getting more and more exciting. We're trying to develop these conferences to make it more engaging and interactive with you all, so we're expecting you all to participate today. I'm going to run through a few things. I think we've got people will be joining all along, so just join in and enjoy. So what I'm going to start with, excuse me, is obviously the theme is planning for a return to the classroom. We showed you a new video which we've been developing as an overview of the Global School Alliance. So we have members already, and I think it's people who've joined us today who aren't members either. So I'm going to just sort of a quick summary of what the Global School Alliance is. What the Global School Alliance is and about. So obviously we are an amazing online community, and that's thanks to all you members, especially the ones that were joining us here. And the whole aim of the platform is to help us unite, collaborate, communicate, share experiences, and have a great educational journey for everybody connected through our platform. We also want to, the aims really are to think about global education and improving outcomes for students. So this is all a fantastic end result, silver lining to the pandemic, which has been painful for everybody. Nobody likes change, but I think there are definitely some good things that come out of it, and the Global School Alliance is definitely one of it, and it's great to see that you're all members. And join if you aren't already. So we've got lots of things coming up. We always do a little reminder. I hope everybody is having, most people think are on summer break, so I think the fact that you're here is fantastic. If you're on your summer break or you're about to break up from school, make sure you have some time to relax and chill. So we've only got a couple of things going on in August, because I know we all need to recharge our batteries. We need to recuperate, but joining us is a good way of re-energizing yourself for the future. Make sure you have time to chill too. So for August, we've got our What's Exciting in Education, where the latest developments from companies and our colleagues are shared. That's on the 12th of August, 4 o'clock on British Summer Time as normal. And then our next educational conference like this one will be on the 26th of August. So make sure you have a break as well, but join us where you can. And again, keep an eye on the platform, because we're going to be launching new ideas, competitions and promotions and loads of other exciting things. So always keep an eye on what's going on. We're going to make this more interactive with you, because we're going to start asking you, we're going to have surveys in the program this time, so that you are actually engaging with us. You're not just going to sit, we're not going to let you sit there with your cameras off and do nothing. We want you to participate, because we want to make this more beneficial and useful and engaging. So there's going to be 5 different little surveys scattered amongst this afternoon, and please participate, answer some questions, and then we'll feedback with you. So we're going to do one now. James, that's the reason I'm introducing, because James is our IT specialist. He's the one who's going to be helping with these sort of surveys and that sort of thing, and we'll feedback to you. So if James, are you able to put the poll up?
Sure.
Because what we'd like you to do, you should see in a minute on here a survey. So we've got 4 questions for you there. You can tick on the, is this the right one, how to tick on, James?
Yeah, you can just select any of those, and it's a multiple choice, so you can have more than one if you think there's more than one answer.
Fantastic. So basically, as you can see, that's great, everybody's participating. So we're going to give everyone a few minutes, a few seconds even, because you're all so quick at that, to answer these questions for us, and it's going to be really interesting, the response. So the question was, I've forgotten the question, James. What was the question?
You see it on your screen, Tony.
Hybrid teaching.
What has
been the hardest part? I see it. Beg your pardon. Hardest part about moving online. That's the question. Wow. Fantastic. It's actually quite an even spread, isn't it?
It's very interesting.
Yeah, the technology, the hard work involved in it, communicating with students. Again, yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Slightly less for parents, because maybe I think less people used it for connecting with the parents. It was more getting the students, wasn't it, on board? Wonderful. Okay. Do you think everybody's had?
We've had 34 of our 66. Maybe if I just quickly run through those again. So if you could just choose an answer. What has been the hardest part about moving your classes online? Was it using technology? Was it the extra work involved? Was it communicating with students? Or was it communicating with parents? If you could just make your selection.
Come on, there's half of you who haven't bothered answering. Come on. I'm going to be naughty mummy today. So give us your answers. I'm going to make you all engage with us, because that's the point of the conference. It's for members to help you, but also engage, ask us questions. We're asking you questions to make you ask us questions, if you see what I mean. So I'll give you another couple of seconds, see if any more is going to answer in the questions. Oh, look, extra work's overtaking.
Okay, I'm going to...
Shall we stop that there then, James? But that it's been really interesting.
Yeah, give me 1 second, sorry.
You can...
so if I just share those results with you, you should be able to see them now.
Fantastic.
So yes, 47% said extra work.
Yeah.
Extra work on top of their normal work.
But that's what the pandemic, I think that's what we found from the pandemic, but it has dragged us screaming and shouting into the 21st century and made us use technology more, which will be the benefit for the future, won't it? It was painful and extra work at the time, but now we've got these things embedded. I think it's a great thing, we can move forward. Thank you for that, James. So that's our first one. I'll be asking you again to do some more as we go through. Are we okay to stop that now, James?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thanks, guys. So I thought, I presume I need to stop it. There you go. Wonderful. So she says I didn't click it. So yes, so I was going to do a little bit more of introduction about the Global School and Global School Alliance and our aims, as in being connected. Now that we can connect around the world, it's supposed to be supportive and collaborative. Initially, when we first set up, as the earlier members will know, we had it was more of a website, Facebook page, and these amazing conferences. Now we've got a platform as well, just launched. We want you as members to help us develop this as a community to make it beneficial to everybody, which means participate, share, celebrate what you're doing. Just say, we did this in school this week. Just communicate with each other and also use the platform to start doing projects and things. We've put together our award scheme to sort of give you as a guideline, an idea of activities you can do and to show progression. And we also want to celebrate celebrate and show off, if you like, demonstrate what we're doing. So basically a school can say, look at us, we're a bronze award, and because we're celebrating offering these opportunities to our students. So we want to make this as accessible as possible and to show progression, but it's mainly aimed at students. So it's basically developing the skills for them to become global citizens. Our whole aim is to upgrade, if you like, or improve the outcomes for students. So our bronze level, we want to make really accessible. We're going to automate it as much as possible. It's a basic level where most sort of schools are doing anyway. So basically having maybe a named coordinator, somebody who's going to be recognized as a point of contact who'd be driving this. Basic activities like assemblies, displays, celebrating festivals, culture days. Join a group. Obviously, we're promoting Global School Alliance. It's a great group to be, but there are lots of other membership groups you can join for support and collaborating with. Attend conferences like this. We're putting on as many things as we can to help you, to collaborate, to share ideas. There are also other places to find those, but obviously stick with us. We're doing some amazing speakers on these to join. And have a plan. I think if you haven't got a policy or a plan of action for what you'd like to do with your international activities, your global dimensions with the school, things don't happen. So that's basically all you need to do to sort of get on the ladder to think about becoming an award-winning school. That's your first award, that's on the journey, and to be recognised for that and celebrating it, obviously. So that is joining us, getting involved. The silver level is obviously using the platform that we've now connected to the website. Get on there. You can set up virtual partnerships. So you can put out a request. I'd like to join a school in Tunisia. I'd like to join in China, someone in Africa. You can set up a partnership on there, collaborate and do some joint projects. So this is the silver level, is being more active and getting students participating. Find some joint projects. What we're going to do is we're going to have some templates you can use. You can do your own projects, but we'd like to share obviously what everybody's doing and celebrating, and to give other people ideas of projects as well that you can join. So this is us building together an online platform for the students to interact in. So that's your silver level. Whereas gold level is the actual physical movement, the international travel, which develops skills you can't beat. I think physically going to a country, meeting peers, visiting schools, develop skills that you just can't buy, you can't pay for, if you know what I mean. So that is our silver level, our gold level, I beg your pardon. It's having a sister school, sending students to visit that country, hosting from another country, and doing more sort of physical projects. So this is sort of a progression of skills and experiences you can provide for the students, be recognised at each level, and you can find how to do that on the platform. We initially set up the company doing sister school partnerships. So we can help support trips, we can help you organise your visits, we can help you, show you how to host from the school to make the most out of it. So basically, as a Global School Alliance, we want to support you to provide these opportunities as much as possible. And again, how you participate is up to you. So it's various levels or not. Excuse me. So basically, that's what we have set up the Global School Awards for. There is a little test sort of assessment you can do online to see how you're coping and where you think the school's up to. Get a little report, and you can apply for the award too. And then obviously we're here to support, to guide you through. So check it out. This, I just wanted to show, this is the platform at the moment, but it's being developed and it's going to be even more attractive for use in the future. So we've got our news feed in there. So it's similar to Facebook. I want more people to participate in there, share what you're doing. I think a lot of people on here already are actually doing that. So thank you so much for who's already participating. But as members, there's no charge for this, just get involved. Join the news feed, send messages to each other, share what you're doing. There's going to be obviously be resources. There'll be these speakers and the presentations like these conferences will have a back catalogue. You can check go backwards and see speakers we've had in the past. We want to develop the resources on here, so we need to share, build up a whole pack of resources people can access. But I think the exciting one at the moment is the groups page. So on here, there are private groups and public groups. So there's ones there you can join. There are ones here, so when you set up a virtual partnership, you can set up your own group on here to communicate, private group. You can find a project on here. We've got partners on here, like the mindfulness group that we had from Jade, Leap Heads on here. A lot of other companies are on here that you can join. And things like the Student Council has its own group here. I can't highlight the Student Council enough. I think this is a fantastic initiative where students get their own voice and can get involved. So check out the platform and get involved. Just like I say, that's the whole point of being part of the community, and we're here to help you do it for as little as much as you want. If you tell me to back off and don't want to, that's fine. But if you want a one-to-one call so I can hold your hand and guide and explain a bit better, email me and contact me, and we can have a private chat about it so I can explain in more detail, because I do have a habit of speaking too fast, as you're probably all aware of, because especially if you've been on conferences before, I speak for England. But I'm quite happy to have a one-to-one call to make it more bespoke for you. So we're going to go on now with actually these amazing lineup of speakers we've got. James is going to introduce another one of our fantastic things that's happened to us recently. I don't know if anybody was here when Lord Right Honourable Jim Knight gave his speech and presentation, but he then went on to speak in our House of Lords about it. So James, do you want to explain a bit more about this and share with the group?
Lovely. Could I share the screen, please?
You can. I'll stop sharing.
Many thanks indeed. And if I just, take you to that part of the presentation, here we go. So if you didn't know, we ran a brilliant SDG competition with Leap Head, our partners in Malaysia, and we had winners on both sides, and it was great that one of the winners in particular that was selected by Lord Right Honourable Jim Knight mentioned the winner in his speech. You see here the extract from his speech at the House of Lords.
Okay, do you want to share your screen? We can't see it.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Hang on. Thank you very much. Let me share my screen. Right. Thank you for that, Tony. So Lord Jim Knight spoke about the winning entry in the House of Lords. So I was just going to play you the extract of his speech.
Sorry, Jim. Also with those bereaved and affected by flash flooding in Germany. Children also see people dying because of the heat in America, because of drought in Mexico, because of desertification in Africa. They see flash floods, the loss of species, the impact of fishing on our seas and on our planet. They're not blind to the planetary car crash that they're living through. Last month, I was asked to judge an international school art competition. The winning picture was an extraordinary image from a primary pupil in Romania. It showed a planet in an hourglass being distorted as it passed through from rich, colourful beauty to becoming a grey, lifeless place. Now has to be the time to show them that they can do something with their knowledge of climate change. It's time for a curriculum that teaches the skills and mindset to make change work for them. We can use this bill, my lords, to empower a generation, and evidence shows the very positive effects on mental health and learning as a result.
And here is a picture of our lovely winner. So this is Daria Anna Maria, and she sent us a message when she found out that she'd won. Her teacher is Alexandra. I don't know if Alexandra is with us this afternoon, but they were delighted. When my teacher told me about this competition, I was really excited because I resonated with the idea of changing for good. It was very easy for me to choose a theme, SDG 13, being concerned by the climate action and population. With my drawing, I wanted to show the whole world that we don't have much time. We have to start the changing as fast as possible. Also, my parents were very happy and grateful that I had the chance to be in this beautiful project. What a lovely comment from her. And I just wanted to finish by sharing what Jim Knight said when he actually chose the winners and presented to us. A wonderful quote here, I think, that empowers us to think about our roles with students, with schools, with organisations. He says, if you are in the fortunate position of leading schools or teaching in schools, and you want to do more on this, don't wait for permission. So consider that we have permission granted to get on and do something about it. Okay. We're coming up to our next survey question. And that question is, would you like to read it? Sorry, Tony.
No, that's fine. You go ahead. Like I say, you're setting it up. I'm quite happy for you to do that bit. Go ahead.
And the question is, what are you proud of with your hybrid teaching? Or what are you most proud of? So I'm just going to the polling now. So what are you proud of with your hybrid teaching? Are you proud of mastering new technology skills? Are you proud of providing distance learning? Are you proud of developing new creativity skills? Because let's face it, teachers have had to learn very quickly about all sorts of applications. Are you proud of improving student assessments? Or is there something other than that you're proud of? Be interested to hear what that is later in our discussions.
Come on, I want more than 36 participating. Yeah, that's it, we've done it. Come on. Told you I'd nag you, expecting you all to participate.
That's really useful. So as we can see there, maybe not surprisingly, developing new creativity skills is the front runner, and closely aligned to it, slightly behind, is mastering new technology skills. So thank you very much for taking part in that poll.
Do you want to end it and see the summary? Oh, there you go, shared results. Fabulous.
Shared results.
Wonderful.
So slightly ahead, developing new creativity skills, with mastering technology skills slightly behind.
Wonderful. Thanks for that, James. And thank you everybody else for participating too. Okay. So should I take the screen back again?
Yep, you can.
Okay, and
we're heading to our new first speaker.
We are. Okay, so I just wanted to introduce, we have such an amazing lineup for you all today. Some really exciting people too. So obviously we're talking about what planning for a return to the classroom. We've got John Tate, Abhilasha and Afreen from Dubai. So we're, like I said, we're worldwide, and Petty from Tunisia. So we're really looking forward to you to hearing these. So I'm not going to spend any more of your time. I'm going to hand over to John first. John, are you okay to take the screen and go ahead?
Yes. Can I just share the screen then? If you can.
I'll stop sharing. That will help.
Perfect. Thank you very much indeed. 1 second. I'll share it. Can you see that now?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, thank you all for being here this afternoon. It's great to be speaking to you all, having seen the comment chat of you all over the world. But it's also nice to see some of my UK colleagues who are commenting on the weather as well. Nice for us to be able to blow, kind of gloat about the weather in the UK, especially when we've got so many colleagues from far over the world who have much hotter climates than us. So it's great that we're basking in the sunshine as well this afternoon. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you kind of briefly about capitalising on the new normal, and kind of where we've come from, what's happened in the last kind of 18 months, and where we're kind of going. But I first wanted to start by just kind of showing you a little bit about a little bit about the school and the trust that I work in. I think that's always nice for people to see. So I work in over 3 schools in an education trust that has 3 schools in North Yorkshire. This is one of our schools. You can see on the video now a drone tour of one of our schools. We call it a comprehensive school, so we serve from students from 11 years old up to 18. We have about 1,300 students in this school, but about 3,500 students across our 3 schools. It's state funded, and we have, it's boys and girls. We have lots of different kind of needs. There aren't any kind of entry requirements to access a school, so it's a very, very kind of inclusive school. Like you would find, in the majority of state schools in the UK. We're blessed in this school at Richmond in North Yorkshire with some amazing facilities, as you can see. And one of our new AstroTurfs has been upgraded recently. So yeah, the students get a really, really kind of good deal. And you can see the beautiful countryside in the background there of North Yorkshire. And yeah, it's a fantastic place to learn. We have a cricket square there as well. So yeah, it's a beautiful place. I just thought that would be a nice kind of way to for you to kind of get a little bit of an insight into kind of where I'm from, the part of the world that I live in, and also the schools that I work in. Okay, right. Let me get rid of this. Let's have a look. Right. So what I want to really talk about the fact is that through lockdown, I think we've progressed, like I say on the screen here, about 18 years in the last 18 months when it has come to technology. And I think that some of the things that we have learned in that time have been absolutely amazing. And it's been the push that we've needed, because I think that lots of this technology was around 10 years ago, but we weren't using it. Things like, the video conferencing and things we're doing now, we've been able to Skype for ages. And I remember when I first came into teaching and started doing some Skyping with different classrooms and different schools across the world. And, that technology existed 20 years ago, but I think that the pandemic and the lockdown has pushed us towards this. And we've certainly started to see a rapid increase in our use of technology to actually do some amazing things like we're doing now in connecting schools around the world, but also in our own schools as well. I just literally put this slide in about 2 minutes ago as we were chatting, and it's in response to the first question you were asked this afternoon in terms of kind of, what was the hardest thing that we found during lockdown. And I've got this statement, which I'll read out to you now, is that we're teaching the digital natives, aren't we? And what we found, or I did lots of conferences and speaking over the last few years, talking about that we're now teaching the digital natives. The students that we're teaching have grown up with technology. They understand it, they can use it. So they're going to be great at it. Yet when we went into lockdown, we suddenly found that they weren't very digitally native at the skills we wanted them to be. And it was very, very difficult for them to actually understand even how to, open emails and manage their inbox, even though they were very, very efficient at playing on their Xbox, playing on Minecraft, building towns and cities and collaborating with kids all over the world. But when it came to the basic technology skills that we needed them to be good at, they really struggled. So in hindsight, going back to if I'd had my time again, I think we'd have probably spent the first couple of weeks when we first went into lockdown doing nothing other than training the kids, training the children how to access Teams, how to access Google Meet, how to access their emails, how to actually organize their inbox, because they know how to communicate with each other, but they don't do it via email. And I suspect probably lots of you are nodding along and thinking, yeah, they're great on WhatsApp, on Instagram, on instant messaging platforms, but actually ask them to use a desktop kind of inbox, an email kind of client, then they really, really struggle. So if I'd have had my time again, we'd have certainly done that. We'd have certainly spent the first 2 weeks training students, training staff, and then moving on. However, none of us really knew how long this was going to go on for. So we were always working on a 2 or 3 week cycle, But having known what we know now, we'd have certainly done a little bit more training to begin with. One thing that we're doing as a school, and I imagine all the schools across the world are doing, is identifying what we're going to keep as part of the new normal. And interestingly, outside of education, people seem to think that we're going to get rid of everything we've done in the last 18 months and fall back into the comfy slippers of what we used to do. And I think there's a real opportunity to not just slip back into those old shoes and think about what we might want to keep. And if I just give you a couple of things that certainly our schools are thinking about, we went into a situation like lots of schools where we had different break times, different lunch times for different year groups to keep the students in different bubbles separate from each other to make sure we weren't cross-contaminating bubbles. And if you'd have said that to any head teacher 5 or 10 years ago and said, do you want to have 5 different break times and 5 different lunch times, you'd have been laughed out of the building. People would have thought you were mad. Yet head teachers now are saying, we might not go back to just one lunchtime because it's actually settled a lot of the behavior. It's enabled students to be calmer. And what we've certainly found is it's enabled some of the younger children to start playing again. Because when they're sometimes with some of the older students, they have felt maybe they didn't want to be playing and running around, and actually they've started to feel a bit older. So by having them just in their year group, it's been nice to see them just be children again. And certainly that's something we're thinking about, things that are keeping to really settle the school day, rather than having 1,300 students out at lunchtime altogether. It also means we can cater for more students on site in terms of lunch times and food and lots of different things. So not everything is going to go back to the old norm. And the reason I've got the icon of a webcam on the screen there is that certainly one thing that we're definitely not going to go back to, and every school that I've spoken to are pretty similar, are traditional parents' evenings. If your traditional parents' evenings were anything like ours in the UK, you were going in as a parent, you had to queue and wait, you had to jump into a seat that someone else came out of a seat, you were sat speaking to a teacher about your child, hearing a conversation 2 yards away from another teacher, talking to another parent about their child. It was really an awful situation. And suddenly now via video conferencing, we can do it all online. We can have it really efficient. And when the time ticks down and it gets to the end, then the appointment finishes. And we're not there till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night because people want to talk and talk and talk. So certainly online parent teams are something that we're definitely keeping. And I know that speaking to schools around the country, that seems to be a bit of a trend. And again, interestingly, we could have done that 10 years ago, but none of us did. It's been the pandemic that has forced us into this for good reasons. However, just because we can go digital doesn't mean to say we have to. There are lots of things in classrooms where we sometimes might want to stay with analog kind of methods. And the reason because of that is because lots of research is telling us that there's lots of forms of digital technology and lots of money, thousands and thousands, millions of pounds that has been spent on digital technology in classrooms that hasn't really made a difference. And we all thought it was going to make a difference. But when we unpack that and we kind of analyze it, the reason sometimes is that what schools do or what teachers do is they just replace pen and paper with an iPad. And the students aren't actually doing any different thinking. They're doing exactly the same thinking, but they're doing less writing. And we're expecting that technology to suddenly make those students, remember more information or make them more intelligent. And actually, if they're not doing any different thinking skills, then sometimes that technology is a big waste. And if I give you an example, certainly in the UK, one of the biggest wastes of money, in my opinion, were the interactive whiteboards on every classroom wall, because the interactive whiteboard comes with a projector, and it's the projector that makes the difference. The vast majority of teachers don't use the interactivity features on the whiteboard. They use the whiteboard as a projector screen, and you could probably, in lots of classrooms, paint a big white rectangle on the wall and still use the projector and have exactly the same impact. But the money that's gone into that hasn't really kind of then filtered down into kind of better teaching or better outcomes. So it's interesting when we start to pick apart these things that we don't always have to go digital. We have to really evaluate what it is and is it going to make a difference. So again, this statement I always use quite often is that don't just use it because it's shiny. It's not going to make a major difference because it's shiny. And don't do, I'm going to do an iPad lesson. What's an iPad lesson? It's we need to be thinking about how it's going to enhance learning. And if it's not going to enhance learning, and if it's not going to take your students' learning further, then don't use technology. Don't use it just because you feel you have to or because it's shiny. Just stick to pen and paper and think about how is it going to enhance or support learning. And if it's not, then don't use it. One of the things I think, though, on the flip side of technology is that even though maybe some of the technology hasn't improved outcomes on the ground in terms of put an iPad in front of a student and the student will get better, what it has done, though, it's made teachers far more efficient. And I think if we can think about how we can use the advances that we've seen in the last 18 months through the lockdown period and how we can continue to make teachers' lives more efficient because of things like self-marking quizzes, because of the fact that we don't have to photocopy lots of things and hand them out to people, we can just put them in Google Classroom. We can have archive material. We can have, my job when I work across 3 schools, I do a lot of my work from here in my home office because I'm actually doing video calls between the 3 schools. I don't have to get in my car and spend an hour driving to a school and an hour driving back for a 1-hour meeting. So we can start to be more efficient. And I think that technology can make big advances, and it can make the improvements by making teachers more efficient and giving teachers more time back, which then allows them to have more time and enthusiasm with the students. So it's almost a secondary kind of impact, an indirect impact on learning, that if we can make the teachers' lives easier, then they can make the students' lives even better. And lastly, to finish with, I think there's a huge opportunity, as we've seen in our own learning over the last 18 months, to capitalize on the new normal and to really improve the quality of professional development that we can offer our teachers by using platforms like Tony actually showed you, the Global School Alliance platform, platforms like that we can actually host our own courses on. We can provide opportunities for teachers within the same school in different subjects or across multiple schools to collaborate, to share resources, to talk to each other, to help each other, to ask advice, and to really connect with each other, even in the same building. It doesn't even have to be across the other side of the world. Think about your own school. How often do the teachers in the history department collaborate with the teachers in the maths department? Probably not often, yet they're probably on adjacent corridors in the same building. So if we can start to use our platforms and our more social media style platforms like Tony showed, and we're certainly developing one very similar to that at the moment, we can start to have staff sharing reading articles, sharing videos, sharing resources, asking questions, collaborating. And I think that we've all found that we are far more kind of open to online learning than we ever were before the lockdown period. So let's start using that, and let's give our staff the opportunity at any point in the day when they want to, on demand, the opportunity to learn and be a better teacher. Let's not put barriers in front of people and say that you have to wait until the next professional development session that's in 6 weeks' time. If I want to learn about questioning and be a better questioner tonight, then I should be able to. And a great school should be able to give those opportunities to the staff so that they can learn when they want to, not when they're told they have to. So I think there's a real opportunity for us around the world to be better at that and to use the technology that we've got to really drive our school improvement forward through our professional development. So that's kind of what I had to speak to you about this afternoon. Hopefully you can take some of those key messages and put them into your own context and into your own school, your own culture, because I think that the language of learning is consistent across the whole world, irrespective of our own native language. The language of learning and how we learn, how students remember information, and how we professionally develop our teachers is the same the world over. So thank you very much indeed for that. And I'll pass it back over to you, Tony. Now I'll stop sharing my screen.
Fantastic. That is amazing, John. And like I said, a nice, simple presentation too. You didn't need all singing or dancing. You got fantastic points across. I was just trying to have a look in the chat actually to see if there was any quick questions for anyone. I think the parents' evening is fantastic. That is a great example of how better is. I hated parents' evening. I had 4 children. It was a nightmare. So I think the question there was, well, are there any other examples of how technology has actually improved sort of the basic school functions? I don't know if you have any other ideas or.
I think there's lots of things like that we can digitize lots of things now in terms of parental responses, dinner money, trip forms, all those type of things. Our communications to parents, lots of in terms of using social media, having little nudges. And if you haven't heard of kind of nudges, do a bit of research in terms of attendance nudges. And it's about sending timely text messages, nudging parents to talk about kind of proactively that, students with 96 plus attendance generally gain half a grade more. So it's about little things like that and nudging people with positive text messages. And it feels informal, so it's less intrusive than a formal written letter for the school, which people go, oh, it's a written letter. So there are lots of ways through our digital communications that we can be really, really good. Out the information we send to our parents in terms of reports, all of that can be kind of very easily done now and can save the school thousands of pounds in terms of what you would normally have printed out and posted out in terms of stamps, letters, envelopes, the time it takes to even lick the envelopes and post them. All of those things, we can start to save a significant amount of time and money. Amazing.
I agree. I can say it. And also, it's the communication, so it is communication with parents as well, has definitely come on leaps and bounds. I was sick of trying to search through my children's bags to find a letter home from school that you never get. You know what I mean? It was one of those. So I think, yes, connections with parents has been one definite improvement. Obviously, I want to try and keep this going now. So, James, I think we have another interactive session with everyone to participate. Thank you very much for that, John.
And I was just going to add, Tony, a few other comments. Andrew mentioned something that's become more efficient in assessment using technology, and a few other people have said that as well. Very interesting. Yeah, I'm just looking to see if there's any other comments in the chat, but yeah, very positive. Thank you.
I think it has also meant, somebody just mentioned, it's actually created a few new roles in school too. So there'll be two different staffing site differences and requirements. So recruitment, staff retention, new roles is another brand new area to explore. Maybe we'll have another conference on that in the future. Hey, James.
Samuel made a lovely point. He said, last month, I and a colleague launched an online education platform in Uganda, though it was like throwing a stone in a beehive. And now I have honey, pure and real clear from Global School Alliance. That's a very nice thing to say. But that backs up what what you were saying, John, about using platforms for that kind of work.
Wonderful. Right. Well, now we're going to make you work for a living again, aren't we? Let's give them another question.
Do the next question. So bear with me. Right. So this question: how well have your students? Oh, let me just launch that. How well have your students adapted to hybrid learning and working from home and school? Have they adapted really well? Have they been okay? Have they been not that good, or have they adapted badly? So
it's all registered. I want 90 registered this time.
How well have your students adapted to working in hybrid mode? And there's been a lot of pressure on families, sometimes not just the pressure of moving to a different way of working, but the technology, have the families got the kit in their house? Well, it looks like most have adapted okay, Tony. I'm just going to end that poll so you can...
That's amazing. Nobody has said badly.
That's right.
How awesome.
There are your results.
It's just my generation that struggle with technology. They're coping. They're adapting better than us. That is great. So, okay. Yeah. Seems to be the majority. Fantastic. Oh, thanks for that, James. So I say this is really interesting. Again, what we'll probably do is put all these sort of results and answers that we're getting from this conference onto the platform too, so to be shared with more people in the future, which is great. So I think, are we okay now to... Abhilasha and Afreen, are you two okay to share your screens and do the next session, which would be wonderful to see?
Yes, definitely.
Thanks, girls.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. Before we begin, I would like to wish everyone a very good evening, good afternoon. And yeah, before sharing the presentation, I would also like to take you all through the tour of Shining Star International School, and then ma'am will take over. Just give me a minute. And yeah. to stop over there and hand it over to ma'am to take it further. Just give me a second.
Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Afreen. It was so nice to see all the kids, and we are in the summer vacation. And I won't say that I missed the school at the moment because we were all looking forward to much deserved break. But yes, one thing that we really miss is the footsteps, the shuffling footsteps in the corridor, and see the children running around in the corridor in the school, just like we did in the school movie at the just now. So I am Abhilasha Singh. I'm from India, working in UAE. I'm the principal of Shining Star International School, Abu Dhabi. And we are here together, Afreen and myself, as a team to present our school and what we have learned in the pandemic and what we are looking forward to. Afreen is the head of the department English and also the academic coordinator of the school. And I'm really, really thankful to what Afreen brings to the school in terms of so much more research, and at the same time, a lot of international activities that Afreen is part of. So thanks so much, Afreen, for today also, and for the presentation that has been prepared.
Thank you, ma'am.
So moving forward, planning to returning to classrooms. Well, we have experience with hybrid learning because last year, since the second term in September, we were from complete distance learning online, then moving to hybrid, and then going online off and on in between because of if there was a positive case that was coming and a macro bubble group going online. So we've experienced both the sets of, we've been on both the sides of the fences and have learned a lot in our experience, and therefore are better prepared for the next year. Now, I think it's safe to say, and everybody also would agree with this, that the hybrid learning is here to stay. We do not know till when the COVID-19 effects will be with us, and if we will ever be able to get out of the COVID-19 new normal that has been that has invaded our lives. So we need to be prepared to bring the learning experiences to our students, keeping in mind that we will have hybrid learning staying with us for a certain time to come. Next, Afreen. So let's share, before we move, jump forward and jump into our presentation, let's take you through this Padlet and ask you to share your input regarding, Afreen, the presentation.
Yes, I'm sending this Padlet link, ma'am. So we can continue with this. Just a second.
The presentation has gone. I can't see the slides. So viewers can see the link in the Padlet, and you can answer the questions as to who is going to be affected while children return to the classrooms. Why do you think so? And how do you think the students and teachers are going to be impacted because of this? And I will take the presentation forward while you access the Padlet link from the chat and answer the question. You could do it throughout the time we are talking and we are discussing this, and later on then we'll share your inputs on the screen. So taking this forward.
The questions are also added in the Padlet. So following up with that, like ma'am said, everyone can share the feedback.
We'll get back to the Padlet link then. So the challenges faced by students during the pandemic, it's bereavement has been one of the biggest loss and biggest emotion to deal with, and the students have been at home, and there have been experiences with device challenge, with internet, loss of family, conflicts in the family. Parents have lost jobs, so some of the children had to move back to India. Violence and abuse, well, I would say that not so much in the country, but yes, around the world, if you take the statistics, there have been instances where the children who came to school were safe in school while the school was on, and then now going back home and staying, now the school coming to home, the situation was not a very happy and a positive one. Personally, for us in our school, we have seen, especially related to the girls from middle school and above, the girls who were so energetic, effervescent, boisterous, very vocal, we suddenly found these girls being very quiet in the lessons. And for a while, we could not put a finger to why this was happening. And we all blamed it to the new environment and, not being able to deal with or speak as a school in the lesson. But then after we set up counseling sessions for the students, this is something that we did in the first half of the school term, that we added a special period of counseling per week per class. So there was a free and a safe space for the students where they got access to the counselor and they could open their heart. And one of these meetings, while we were tiptoeing and we were I used to call it ghost walking the corridors of the virtual corridors and peeping into the classrooms, we heard conversations that really touched up. My heart broke to hear that some of the girls, some of the students were attending lessons sitting under the table, or because of the number of siblings being in the house, and they're not being free to speak their mind and heart in front of the parents. And can you imagine if that for a whole year has gone, the amount of learning loss that has occurred for the child or the children? And apart from the fact that because of the economic constraints, there has been lack of resources at home, insecure housing, inequalities in terms of course, the cultural background has to be kept in mind, and where the boys are given preference. And I'm coming from an Indian culture, and also serving the expat community in the UAE region. So we have the Arabs, and of course the entire Asian diaspora. So that inequality definitely has affected. Uncertainties, what would happen next? And this is something from the school point of view also, and from the parents at home as well. Transition from the normal to the new normal. And of course, friendships and bullying. Well, one of my students, and this is a grade 4 child, saying that he loves Shining Star because there is no bullying in school. They feel safe, they feel happy coming to school. So this was one of the big statements to hear from a grade 4 students. But then we also know that around the world, at home, violence, abuse, that has been common. And the children really have felt unsafe, and they have felt neglected, and they were happy to come to school, and that space was restricted. Next, Afreen. And same goes the challenges for the teachers as well. Now we know that our working time, the line between home and school, or home and profession, office space is blurred. We carry work home, and the work continues into late night, and there is no me time left. There is no home time left, and home and office, home and school, all has sort of blurred into one. So the main challenge that the teachers faced was the increase in the workload, and then how the organization processes that work and the time management. We set up a WhatsApp group for the teachers, and that was to deal with emergency situations, like the teachers not being able to connect to the internet, or the system crashing. We were using Microsoft Teams, which is a very heavy software. So gadgets not working properly, connectivity issues. Fortunately, we prepared the teachers very well. The Microsoft Innovative Educator certificate is compulsory for the teachers. So we moved into the new normal and online learning well prepared, I would say. And those who were not, then there was special one-to-one that the support that was given to the teachers. But in all this, the entire year of pandemic and online learning, something that I, as a person and a leader of the school, started facing around the fag end of the year was literally that sense of belonging, that disconnect with the teachers, disconnect with the staff, and the same feeling reciprocated from the other end, that has been the challenge that I personally have found very difficult to meet, because humans, we thrive on human interaction. We are social beings. So connecting on the screen is not the same as sharing your aura in the same physical space. So fingers crossed, we are looking forward to getting back to school, and hopefully, like, you know, we'll be able to meet, we'll be able to sort of meet the divide that and the distance that has come between us. So the lack of interaction has been one of the major challenges, and the LMS imperfections, we do what we have, and we make do with what we have. The hybrid teaching and learning efficacy, definitely. The learning loss, the curriculum, the activities, the collaboration, it is not the same of by sending students to the breakout room. It is not the same. That feeling is not there. And also, one of the strange things that we have noticed was that our students, even if you send them to the breakout room, they still are doing their individual work. They sort of have found, they have sort of lost that art of interaction. So this is something that is in the list of challenges, and for us to look for ways to overcome that. And Afreen is going to talk to you about what we are doing in the next academic year, because this is something again that we have realized, that being in UAE, and this is a problem of UAE, we have a problem of plenty over here. Everything is available, and we are spoiled for choice, and especially the younger generation. So without speaking much on this, I'll invite Afreen to take this forward.
Thank you, ma'am, for that. So we actually have planned to take up gratitude as a pedagogy, because like ma'am said, there is a problem of plenty, and students or teenagers in common, they do not realize the importance of what and how they are getting all the things that they have at the moment. And since UAE is one of the developed nations, we don't lack any kind of gadgets or connectivity issues, though of course there are some challenges in some of the families where there are a lot of siblings, and for them it's a slight challenge with the amount of or the number of gadgets that are present. But we wanted to focus on how thankfulness and gratitude would help them focus and of course increase the academic achievement. So like you all can see on screen what gratitude actually means. It's the state of being grateful. And secondly, the Harvard Medical School, it gives us some more details about what gratitude is. It's nothing but a thankful appreciation of what an individual receives, whether it is tangible or intangible, and the art of appreciating everything that they have. It's all about being grateful. It's all about being thankful for all the things that they are having, be it having amazing parents, wonderful siblings, and access to internet and the gadgets with which they can pursue or continue with their studies. So moving on further, we have gratitude as a pedagogy. What are the challenges that we are going to face when we are going to introduce gratitude as a pedagogy? Because this concept seems to be not yet not much in use. But yes, of course, these days the curriculum developers and the leaders across the world, they are all focusing on developing gratitude as a pedagogy. So how can we use it as pedagogy when students return back to schools or classrooms? And as educators, as teachers, what challenges are we going to face developing gratitude amongst our students? You all can just keep on recording your responses in the Padlet link which are shared, so that we have a number of responses, and then we reflect back upon it. So how do we prepare our students to return back to school? Here, ma'am, if you would like to add on your thoughts over here.
Sure, Afreen. Thank you so much. So before we start, before I go on to this, I would like to share that the pedagogy of gratitude as a pedagogy, this idea came to us when we were attending, we got an opportunity to attend, to be part of HP Idea Innovation and with Mirai. And they selected schools, and we're very fortunate to be part of that initiative. And there we were given this question that what innovation would you like to implement in school, or what is the thought process and what roadmap would you like to create for the school? And we brainstorm as a team. We are 8 people in that, and there was a lot of thought about the common thought that everybody got to the meeting was about social emotional learning, because this is something that everybody, all the teachers, we know, we've been talking about it and we've been hearing about this, that how the social emotional learning has impacted, the pandemic impacted our students, and that disconnect for the school, and also not meeting the students' needs. So therefore, we thought that we would like to connect CEL with something deeper, and we thought of that, how about trying gratitude as a pedagogy, because it has its impact on students' achievement. I was looking at something that Afreen had shared with me this morning about Maslow, and what Maslow says about that the students' achievements are high order, and to be able to achieve the high order, students' lower order needs are to be met. And this is exactly what is the thought behind using pedagogy, the gratitude as a pedagogy in school. So we are also in the trying phase. So we do not know how it will impact, but we are really positive that something that we start with a positive heart is definitely going to have its beneficial results. So how do we prepare our students? As I spoke about CEL, we know that we have to be aware of our the mental health impacts of COVID-19 on our students. And we also, all of us are a bit wiser with our 12 months of experience with COVID, that how important is human well-being, mental health, and our young learners' well-being. So with that, we need to have conversations with the students, and we need to have students sharing about their experience of COVID-19 and the lockdown. We need to get those feelings out and spoken about, because definitely speaking is a big catharsis, sharing is catharsis, and this helps in students to know that they are not alone in this experience, that everybody else is also has same kind of experiences in this lockdown. Reflection is something that, again, all the educators would agree that reflection again helps the students to learn about themselves, and there's so much more that you can do with reflections, and not just working about on the strengths, but yes, particularly keeping COVID-19 and the lockdown and mental health and well-being of the students, a reflection journal, which is going to be part of our gratitude learning, is something that is going to be interesting, and also has its positive impact. And of course, we have to be aware of students who are at the risk from the effects of COVID-19. You have to be aware of students who are from the family history, where you know that either one of the parent is violent, the child has experienced abused in the past, and also you need to have a lookout on the children who have gone silent suddenly, or are not participating in the classes, and also their health is affected, physical health is affected. We've seen children who are just getting 2 slices of bread, just plain bread for lunch. I mean, how does a parent do that? How does a mother send child to the school just with 2 slices of bread? You know, so these are the kind of things that you would need to watch out for the students and care for them, and especially children who've come out of bereavement, who have lost a family member, especially a parent, either a father or a mother, and especially the parents who have gone through pay cuts. The atmosphere at home is different compared to when there was prosperity at home. So we have to be very mindful of how we talk, what we speak, and what we demand from the children. So Afreen, over to you. You need to
Yeah,
show me
so
the timeout, because you know that I've got a play button. I don't have a pause button, and we are restricted for time. So thank you.
no,
Take it forward.
yeah, thank you, ma'am. So our main motive with this presentation is to uh, bring your focus. I mean, all being the educators, we just wanted to bring your focus onto what our students or our what do we say? We can say our children also as teachers, that we need to focus on their mental health and well-being. We also need to focus on their psychological needs, because they are coming to school, which is their second home. It's after the parents, the teachers who are very close to the students, and only we as educators can help them overcome any trauma, any thing that they are going through. And apart from that, if there are any students who are very intelligent, and also they are to what do we call that, they love being engaged, we can help motivate them, we can promote their creativity, we can be their we can just motivate them to perform better. I mean, beyond the learning outcomes that we have actually planned during our lesson planning. And not just focusing on rote memorization or simply continuing with the class, we also can have a day off where we can discuss, where we can talk to our students in on a one-to-one note to know about the challenges that they are facing during this pandemic or during this hybrid mode of learning, and uh, how quick or easy they find the tasks that are being assigned to them to be solved by them, or what are the challenges that they're facing in solving those problems. Like, we as teachers should not just restrict ourselves to teaching those students who are actually good at learning, but then we also need to focus on those students who are slow learners, who are very shy, who are reluctant, who do not want to get involved. So here comes this blended learning part, and also we focus into well-being, being gratitude as a pedagogy that we are talking about. I would like to throw light upon this self-determination theory. That that's like a theory of eudaimonic uh, well-being, emotional well-being, with what can we say, with direct educational applicability. So in that, I wanted to introduce, or maybe if everyone knows about it, the PERMA model, which was given by Seligman 2011, which has this 5 pillars of individual well-being: positive emotions, and then engagement, the relationships that the students have with their teachers, and of course at home, and meaning, which is a sense of greater purpose of being alive, and what their aims or ambitions could be, and of course accomplishment, which is like setting up or having goals and ambitions which they would want to pursue, and we as educators can motivate them to pursue their goals and achieve all those goals. So through gratitude, we develop that attitude of thankfulness in them. We also make them to learn to accept as how they are, instead of pointing out that those inabilities within our students. It's only as educators that we motivate them to perform better, or probably outperform um, beyond our expectations. That's what we can say. And moving on further, what if hybrid learning continues? Like it's already told, and across the world, actually, most of the students, say 50%, if I can say, 50% of the students are now tech savvy. Of course they were, and in fact we as educators learned a lot from our students than what they have learned, because they have been into different applications and all that. And yes, we will also be exploring different distance learning tools, and we'll also be having various courses with which we can develop, I mean professionally develop ourselves, to get adapted to the new normal, to get adapted to the way our students are learning these days. It's not the traditional method of teaching and learning that's going to continue. It is uh, uh, innovative teaching that we have to adapt to, keeping in mind or including gratitude as a pedagogy. And of course, their distance learning is not interactive, but yes, we'll have to make it more interactive. And we will also have to adapt our curriculum in a manner that it serves the purpose of making our students outstanding learners, because that's what we want. We are actually building the future of our students. They are going to be there. They are going to be the ones who are going to set up this world, or help in improving the way the world at the moment is. And not to forget about the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. Here, I would like to call upon ma'am, because she will definitely be more, providing us or giving us with more information, being a teach SDG ambassador for a long time and an advocate also. Ma'am, would you please?
Thank you, Afrin. We are in the last 2 minutes of our slides, so I'll just rush of our presentation. I'll just rush. So, developing gratitude, thankfulness, SDG, goal number 4 as education, quality education, and then goal number 3 about mental health and well-being. I would just summarize this into one thing, and that is that all the teachers, as an education fraternity from around the world, we need to get heartful teaching into our school, into our system. So not just teach to test, not just teach to complete the syllabus, but teach to ensure that we bring up our students, we look after all their needs, and we help in their upbringing so that they become independent and responsible global citizens who are empathetic, who have the global goodwill at their heart. And Afrin came up with a very with a brilliant idea of a student learning network, and this is something that we are again looking forward to implementing it in the new term, second term when we get back to school in September. And one of our students, Fatima Majid Khan, has been selected as an SDG ambassador, a student ambassador with Edu Chopal, which is our Edu partner. And this is about mentoring students adopting a school from a rural area in India and mentoring them on SDGs. So as an SDG school and Agenda 2030 being a collective responsibility, that's a call to the world, to the school community around us and to the world at large. And this we ensure that we put in steps. Taking action is important. So the 5 A's of SDGs that we follow is activism, advocacy, and action. And we have added 2 from our end, and that is acting responsibly and avoiding plastic. So this is something that is at the heart of our work in school, and a heartful teaching is what we are looking forward to when we get back to school in September. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. These are our Twitter handle and our emails. Anybody would like to reach out to us, we are available on this personal as well as official email ID, and you can follow us on Twitter. My handle is Abhilasha Tochi, and Afrin is at Afrin 500794661. Thank you so much, and a very big thank you to Mr. James and to the Global School Alliance for this opportunity to speak to a global audience. Thank you. Over back to you,
James.
Are you going to share the Padlet, ladies? Are we doing a quick Padlet summary, or?
Yeah, just a second. So here we go. So we have this amazing responses from almost all the educators from around the world. So some children have been really scared of COVID-19, and few are actually afraid of interacting with others. So this is where I think gratitude thankfulness, and of course that feeling of belongingness, like we as educators develop amongst our students, that will help them to open up and speak, and then share their fears, their inhibitions, and it's definitely going to help them.
That's
And then
amazing.
teachers,
Are we able to
yeah.
share this maybe afterwards? Can people access the Padlet to have a little read themselves when there's time? Or
Yeah, sure.
so,
The link that is shared, actually,
yeah.
I'm going to reshare it again.
Like
I'm just
accessible to everyone, Tony.
Oh,
I mean, whoever
fantastic.
is able, yeah. So they can go back to the link, they can share some more insights. And at the same time, they can save it, take a screenshot and save it for themselves to read later.
So everyone can see what other people have contributed. That's fantastic.
Yes.
Because the presentation was fantastic. Thank you so much, because it's caused a lot of conversation in the chat. Unfortunately, because we're running out of time, I can't go over too much in the chat, but it's amazing. And I think the gratitude is definitely making people think about a whole mindset, and the well-being is a very, very big point, obviously. And I think you were focused a lot on the students' well-being coming back, but we also need to help with teacher well-being and supporting
Just well-being, yes.
so obviously, to be able to help the students, we need to help them too. You need to be, it's the resilience for everybody, isn't it? But that was amazing. Thank you so much. It has been very thought-provoking. I don't know, we're going to have wonderful. Hopefully you'll say to the end, we might have a bit more time at the end to try and get some questions, if that's okay, from the rest of the members. Thank you so much. James, do we want to do one more quick question ourselves? Let's move on. I'll hand over to you.
A quick survey. I'm just going to launch it now. And this question is, how much work have you moved to your classes online? So how much work of their work have you moved online? Is it all of it? Is it most of it? Is it some of it? Or perhaps is it none of it? Maybe because you're unable to share it online. How much work have you moved to your classes online?
I think one of the points that has come out in the chat as well is inequalities in countries. For instance, our Ugandan members are saying they don't have technology there, and again, as Abhilash and Afin said, they are living in a land of plenty. They have all the gadgets. The children have access to everything. So the global inequalities are also growing, aren't they? And facilities, which is why we can try to help support each other in the community.
Absolutely. I'm just going to share the results of that one, Tony. So, so it would seem some of it has moved online, maybe not as much as we would have expected, but for the reasons you've just shared, Tony, I think. Yeah,
and I agree. I think all of it, nobody really wants all of it to be online, to be honest, because it's the interaction with the students that is one of the main aspects, isn't it? So that's fantastic. And again, we're going to share all these results on the platform and in the future too. So thanks for that, James. And I don't want, I know Feth's been waiting very patiently in the wings. If I'm going to hand over to our last speaker, because I know he's got some interesting things to share as well. Yeah. Are you there okay, Fethy, to hand?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm waiting to share my screen.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just give me. So I want to share my screen. So we have to stop sharing the other screen.
Is anybody sharing at the moment? James, or what are you going to?
I'm sharing. Maybe is Afrin sharing still, or no?
I don't think so. Can you share, Fethy, or did you want James to do your presentation for you?
Okay, I'm going to share. I'm going to share.
Okay.
All right.
That's great.
So I'm going to start where the previous speaker, Afrin, stopped it. So talking about gratitude. And we are here today for a main reason, which is being grateful to teachers around the world, because they are the best people in the world and they are the celebrities of this world. So thank you, teacher, everywhere. And we are here to support you and to celebrate your successes everywhere. Okay, so I'm Fethi and I'm from Tunisia, and I'm for my bio, I want to say that there is no static profile, there is no static bio, because professional growth is unbounded. So maybe today I'm a teacher, tomorrow I can be an ambassador with you, after I can be another, can have another position. So I'm a British Council ISA ambassador. I'm class teacher for 20 years now, with a decade on specialized in global education, which helped me a lot grow. A GSA ambassador, I'm really proud of it. and I'm waiting for more opportunities to come from it. It seems promising. I'm a board advisory member of K-12 Digest International magazine, where I write articles on education, and I encourage every teacher to create content, to write article, so that to keep trace of his experience or her experience. So the aim is to share expertise on education, to impact and to raise one's profile, which is really recommended for every teacher. Our global team at Collège Pilote Sous Tunisia got the International School of the Year this year, 2021, which was organized by the Economist Educational Foundation for being Thought Leader School. And at the same time, we assisted 5 amazing schools in Tunisia in their first experience this year. So we participate and we coach, we help, and this is the essence of education. We got the International School Award via connecting classrooms with the British Council twice in 2013, 2018. And our team of ambassadors in Tunisia coached 15 other schools to get this international accreditation in 2020, this year. Congratulations to all of them. And all the respect to the ISA ambassador everywhere, especially in the MENA region. And they are attending with us today. So impacting others is our priority, along with celebrating their personal achievements. So for the topic of the day, everyone can tackle it from different perspectives. Okay, so I'm going to deal with it from the perspective of a global teacher or maybe an ambassador of a global education. That's why I choose this title, Building Resilience and Instilling Thought Leadership through Collaborative Global Learning. So I took this quote from Dave Hollis, who is really inspiring. In the rush to return to normal, use this time now, to consider which parts of normal are worth back to. So this quote is really inspiring. That means we have to take things which are really convenient and practical, and we have to keep others. So we don't have to leave everything and have a total change. So the change is partial. So what are the most essential educational challenges in these times of change? What should we keep as handy practices? What are the updates needed to adapt school to the new normal? Hopefully, the 21st century learner, and as John said, they are digital native learner. So as well as educator have a chameleonic potential. So they are really chameleonic, they can adapt, teachers and learners. So they are able to fit in and develop a more purposeful quality learning that is loadable at any time and fits in all contexts. So you can find more about what is a purposeful quality learning in an article I wrote, and it's published on K-12 Digest magazine. And James, please, you can share the links, including this article and other articles. So let me give you a little bit of the Tunisian context. In Tunisia, we have 4,069 primary schools, 1,882 secondary schools, 285 higher education institutions. So more than 2 million pupils, students, 190,000 teachers. That means 1/5 of the whole population, which is a big number. The Ministry of Education's decision this year, what they decided. So they decided first to adapt a different timing, a different school calendar, national exams dates. Maybe this will continue the coming year. A student groupings. So if we have one class, we divide it into 2 and each class will study 3 days. And this, for this point, so it encourages hybrid learning. So for the student who stay home, one day and after the other, so they can learn online. And the abridgment of the program, that means they selected some topics. Then we have different assessment, less exams. And then we have the online learning during some school closures, because we have some times of school closures. Maybe, I hope not, but maybe we can have this in the coming school year. And then we have the vaccination of vulnerable school staff. And I hope by the beginning of this school new year, all teachers and even learners, they will be vaccinated. and this will help teachers and learners emotionally, especially, so they can be ready for the coming school year. And teachers' professional development, which is really important, turn it online also. And here we have to congratulate inspectors, so EFL inspectors, who did a great job, like many conferences online. And this was an opportunity to trigger creativity and content creation, and for online professional development, to foster quality communication and to share expertise. There were lots of guests, important guests. They were invited by inspectors. So there are two key pillars to education which turned into challenges to schools with the pandemic, and these two pillars, they are permanent all the time here. So we have from one side academic performance, and from the other side we have the emotional social needs. For the academic performance, we have content and curriculum, studying, course books, assessment, grading, etc. And for the emotional and social needs, we have what we call connection, which is, for example, meeting classmates, even shaking hands or giving hugs. Even going to school becomes like something really comfortable during these times of changes. So how to strike a balance between two, academic performance and emotional social needs? So global collaborative learning is the key for me. So it fits all contexts and it helps strike balance between content and connection. So our school, Collège Pilote Sous Tunisia, over 10 years of international experience, we created many partnerships, and we are grateful to the British Council via Connecting Classroom project, which gave us a kickstart. And we expect more collaborative global learning from our Global School Alliance with its promising plans. And I invite again all teachers to join this great alliance. So these are the partnerships we created along the year. So we have from the UK, from Denmark, from Finland, from Sweden, from Russia, from all over the world, almost from all over the world, Japan, South Korea, Philippines, India, from the Middle East, and even from South Africa and from Ghana. Okay, we wish that we have more partners from the other part of the world, the US, etc. So these are some pictures showcasing our, so this is from South Korea, from Bosnia, and from UK, Folkestone, and the impactful Colette. So plans and recommendations. So number one, find the collaborators and set a learning plan together. And here maybe the Global School Alliance will help you. Surely it will help you. So in 2021-22, this is our plan. We have already created 4 partnerships from South Korea for cultural exchange with in the UK with St. Mary Academy Folkestone, SDG 3 and 13 will carry on next year. With Taiwan, SDG 14 about water, etc., and Denmark about reading. And we have a promise from Global School Alliance that we'll have a new other partnerships, hopefully. Thank you, Tony. So we are hopefully taking part in the Global Culture Online project via the Global School Alliance with more partners and more projects. Maybe Tony is going to explain this later. So what can we gain from going global? So school pride and an enhanced sense of belonging, which is really important. So International School Award, we got it in 2018 and 2011 by the British Council. And here's some photos. And also recently the Economist Educational Foundation as a thought leader school. So more learners and teachers are motivated if they see this. So they see themselves celebrated. So more teacher will be involved and more learner will get involved also. So our school hosted ambassadors from the MENA region to showcase our global learning. So James, if you can share this.
Yeah, I will. If you could unshare the screen and I will share. All right, I'm going to share it now. Here we go. I'm very sorry for my messy desktop. Okay.
Dear guests, it's a great pleasure having you among us today to celebrate the success of schools' international work with the British Council's International School Award. This globally recognized accreditation helps schools enrich learning and improve teaching by guiding international learning activities from introducing international education into schools' curriculum.
Connecting Classrooms is a global education program
This is our school.
funded by the British Council and the Department for International Development, DFID. It aims at developing the skills, knowledge, and understanding of young people to be able to contribute responsibly to a global society.
We signed a memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Education, and we've had fantastic support over the last few years from the Ministry of Education. So I'm really pleased to see that we'll be continuing to work on connecting classrooms. We've had some fantastic performances from 5 schools from around Tunisia, and they've shown us what it means to become internationally focused.
The point of the International School Award is to encourage young people to think about global goals, to think about how to live sustainably, and most importantly, to think about how they can collaborate with others.
اللي نشوفه فيه هذا هو عمل يثلج الصدر، هو عمل اللي يخلينا احنا كرجال تربيه نفتخر بابنائنا التلاميذ اللي نجموا يخرجوا حاجات اللي ما يتخيلها حد. نشكر البريتش كونسل اللي سمحت ومكنت تلامذتنا انهم يبدعوا، وسمحت ومكنت تلامذتنا انهم يتعاملوا مع بعضهم، يعملوا على ارواحهم، يحاولوا بالطبيعه يقدموا كل ما في طاقاتهم المخبيه.
It's so important that young people learn from each other, celebrate each other, and actually learn what it is to be a global citizen. And Tunisia are doing great things, ensuring that young people are globally aware young people.
This will really show the impact of what we are really doing. Our children are beginning to have a voice, are beginning to have an opinion, are beginning to understand problems that we are facing all over the world.
هذه السنة 5 مؤسسات حصلت على هذه الجائزة. ينتظر أنه في السنة القادمة يتوسع البرنامج ليشمل ما يفوق 60 مؤسسة. البرنامج يهدف إلى خلق هذه الشخصية المتوازنة التي تؤمن بالسلام والمحبة والإخاء وتكون ناجحة في حياتها وفي العالم.
They say, I've started to understand my own culture in order that I can explain it to somebody else in another country. When we ask them about how it's affected their learning, they say, but I'm more interested in my learning. We're doing more interesting things. We're doing more creative things.
That's it. So thank you, James.
Okay. Did you want to show the next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we also gained an intrinsic motivation to keep learning even from home, thanks to partnerships and global conversation and virtual exchange. So learners are given a voice regardless to their academic level, thanks to the project-based learning, usually carried out as teamwork, which is inclusive. So sharing inspirational practices, thanks to global partners' expertise. Examples, so practices enhancing well-being, so daily gratitude, happy moves, sad in 10-second dance, breathing and yoga, and these one to be implemented in the coming school year. So here, number 2, consider well-being as regular practices and make it an event. So we have a special calendar for this. So let me make you listen to a learner testimonial.
in our happy classroom makes us feel ready to do our best. Our teachers greet us with a smile and with small gifts sometimes. In class, we do daily happy thinking and gratitude. We also do yoga and happy moves. Our emotional and physical well-being is so important to perform better.
Okay. Next, James, please. And this is a well-being calendar for September 2021. And I sent you, James, a Word file, so you can share it with all the audience, and they can use it as their own calendar at the beginning of this new year. And it's with the Global School Alliance logo. So it's offered first to the Global School Alliance and to all our audience.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
So share, impact, and create content. This is really important. So ground 3, create content and share. We share practices and create content. We created in-country cluster activities, schools from all parts of Tunisia doing the same activities, then sharing the outcomes. And from the audience today, we have some teacher who participated in this cluster activity. So to be continued the coming school year, here we have the link. You can share it so the audience can see it later. Not now, it's okay. Yeah. So international cluster activities also with the MENA region, well-being practices followed by conferences to showcase works. So created content of good practices on social media like YouTube, of course, and created a podcast with episodes to give voice to educators and learners. So I invite you to visit our podcast, which is called already Thought Leadership. And here I'm going to invite so many inspirational educators to give their thoughts and share them with everyone. So learners appreciate being celebrated. And this enhances their resilience and mindfulness and gives them and pushes positive messages, especially during those times of distress. So we converted lessons and materials into digital content like PDF, etc., and which will help hybrid learning, already used in global exchange. And here again, a big thanks to inspectors who encourage a teacher to create contents, to digitalize material to be used later on. So we created sustainable partnerships. Here you can see our partner, Colette. She's in her classroom. We are in our classroom. And this is our daily gratitude was to her. So we said to her, we are proud of you as partner, and we are happy to learn from you and celebrate our collaborative learning. In fact, gratitude has a great impact. So from partners to long-term collaborators with clear plans and expectations. That's why year 1, it's over, but year 2, year 3 is coming with St. Mary Folkestone. So loads of empathy and mutual appreciation expressed. So we create opportunities for each other. For example, we helped St. Mary School to apply for funds, and Colette helped me come here with the Global School Alliance, which is really amazing. And here we have a link for YouTube, if time allows, so we can have a look. If not, we can move. So this is an example of shared activities with St. Mary Folkestone.
Would you like me to show this?
All right.
Climate change challenges. But step 1, we've been looking at some of the endangered species across our world. Many of the penguins are in danger because the ice is melting. Our
Not drunk and expect renovation. Our planet Earth is dear to us. Let's all enjoy the world today, because tomorrow could be a very different day.
So we can go back. As you can see, these are the beauties of having a partnership. So lots of empathy and okay, move to the next slide, the last one, I think, thought leadership, which is really important. So hubs and educational platforms are part and parcel of the new normal learning. So via our school regular participation in the global conversations organized by the Economist Foundation and the British Council. So learners, they have become experts of thinking skills on specific topics. This is the meaning of thought leadership. Any teacher can be a thought leader in a special topic. So I encourage each teacher to specialize in something, to be a thought leader in something. We are specialized in global education. That's why we are thought leaders in this field. But any teacher can be a thought leader in using technology, in anything he is great at. So we have a learner testimonial about this participation in this global conversation. So we have two sounds, James. Yeah. The first sound, yeah.
Okay.
Finally, the school achievement not only makes me proud of myself, my classmates, and my professor, but also enhances my belief that if you believe in something, you can reach it. With our mindset and creativity and other personal capacities, we can achieve great things.
Yeah, and we have a parent who gave her testimonial about this.
My daughter was using her time well, and she was busy making researches to give her best on the Global Conversation Hub. She was extremely proud to see her posts and work published online. Her level of English also clearly improved.
Yeah. So our school took part this year with 5 other amazing schools. And thanks to this great participation, the Economist Foundation gave us the opportunity to make 10 other schools take part in this global conversation. And this is, again, the essence of teaching and education, is to impact and to support others, to help others. So here we have the link. You can share it with the audience if they want to have a look at this. So this is one of the works of our student during this global conversation, and it was about climate change. And down you can have his description. So it's art and using language at the same time. So as you can see here, he described it, what he painted. Okay, we can go back, James, and you carry on. Yeah, next slide, which is the last normally.
Finally.
No, we can move to the next slide.
My daughter was using her time well, and she was busy making research.
Yeah. So the last thing, it's a call to action. Number 1, global learners are resilient and can fit in different learning contexts. So number 1, go global. Number 2, learner and educators' well-being should be implemented in the curriculum. Number 3, there should be a roadmap to hybrid learning to be considered. Learning doesn't just happen in the classroom. Platforms and hubs and collaborations, apps should complete it. Content creation, digitalizing materials, and designing an alternative pedagogy is a must. Continuing professional development, CPD, should answer the challenging needs of digital native learners of the new normal. And you are helping us a lot. And most importantly, support teachers, support each others, share trust and understanding. I'm going to finish with this quote from Brad Johnson. Happy teachers make happy students, and happy students make happy parents. Happy parents make happy administrators. Leaving teachers out of advocacy is like having a 3-legged table you will spend all your time just trying to keep it standing. So support teacher. This is the most important thing as a preparation for the coming school year. Thank you. This is it, James.
Thank you very much.
Well done, Fethi. That is amazing. You're a great ambassador. And like everyone says, there's loads and loads of information that all our speakers have shared with lots and lots of links and that sort of thing. So this is all going to be, the recording is going to be shared, and we're also going to be sharing all these links and everything on the platform, so you can still refer to them. There's nothing's going to be lost from here. So we're going to make sure everybody gets to see them, and obviously promote it for more people to see, because it's such amazing messages. Are we gonna? Does anyone? There were a few questions. Did anyone spot questions, James, in the
just having a look
chat for any specific questions? If anyone has specific questions, put it in the chat now, and we can ask any of the speakers, Fethi and all the others. We do have a raised hand from Abhilasha. Would you like to say something?
Thank you, Tony. I would, first of all, congratulations, Fethi. It's amazing work that the school is doing, and congratulations to you, and well done. And also, as part of MENA region, how do we connect with you for all the work that you're doing, and especially the well-being that you mentioned? There's a conference, so we would love to be connected.
Yeah, hopefully, yes.
Thank you.
Will do. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Does anybody else have anything to say for any of the speakers, Fethi, as well as Abhilasha?
Yeah, so I have a question possibly to the audience and maybe to our speakers. So which approach to teaching are you going to follow the coming school year?
Nice question, Fethi.
Excellent question.
I think there's going to be lots of different answers, mind you. Does anybody want to answer that? Abhilasha?
Well, there's so much to look forward to, and there's so many brilliant ideas that Fethi has left us with today. So there's a lot that will go into the planning. I think I'll need to go back to my planning roadmap and then rewind it again. So yeah, there's so much to do. Thank you so much, Fethi. Lovely, amazing presentation.
Yeah, thank you. Connected by learning, sure.
Yes, like I say, we can share it all on the platform. I think we did have. Did we have one more question to ask everybody for another little poll there, James, for the final one?
Yes, we do indeed. So if I go to the final question, and that is, what do you miss about teaching in person? What do you miss about teaching in person? So I'm going to just go back to our poll to ask that. What do you miss about teaching in person? Do you miss the personal contact with students? Do you miss better or quicker assessment? Do you miss students' questions? Or do you miss the practical, hands-on subject teaching, like art, for example? What do you miss about teaching in person? I think everyone misses
Interesting.
it.
Yeah, personal contact has got to be at the top, hasn't it? And it's coming out top. Amazing.
Okay.
Thank you everyone for answering the questions. Getting you all involved is one of our aims.
Sharing that now. So of that short poll, yeah, personal contact with students obviously up top. Also, practical hands-on subject teaching is missed.
Amazing.
Okay.
Brilliant. I say I'm just getting aware again. It's been a long session and there's been lots of information. If there's any final questions, we can take them now. Otherwise, all this information is going to be shared on the platform. And come along to the next one, guys. We shared the dates in August. But in the meantime, chill. It's holidays.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, James.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
You're free. Thank you to all our speakers. Thank you to John as well.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Keep tuned.
Thank you, everyone.
And get in touch with Tony. She has lots of opportunities.
Thank you so much.